All right. Well, it's another episode of Toybox Chronicles from coast to coast, nation to nation, from our toy rooms to your living rooms. This is Toybox Chronicles, episode number 37. And yeah, you'll be noticing it's just Mr. Storm tonight. No Chet Maddox. He's still making his trek across country and everything. So don't worry though. Episode 38. I know you've been asking. Chet will be back, but we got some good stuff hitting for you tonight. You saw the title. The title is Mezco doing it better than the Hasbro classified line? Are they doing Joe better than Hasbro? What do you guys got to say? Because I this week really kind of did a deep dive into their Joe line, and I've got to say something. I didn't think I was going to be buying $100 Joe figures, but I might be buying $100 Joe figures. We got some cool things other than that. Top McFarlane is dropping a bunch of stuff tomorrow. The first day of the New York Comic Con is hitting, and he's dropping a bunch of stuff on every other situation that you can know from man. Top McFarlane's got bad timing. We'll run through some other news and other toy things that we got of the week. Got some special guests on tonight. If Rad gets his mic up, we'll get him on. This is Toy Box Chronicles. Watch the intro. All right, we are back and everything. And you know, let's start this off. I said this on Getting Medieval. We made this cool. Yes, sir. Generation X made actually toy collecting cool. So when we jump in tonight, I've got a couple of special guests. Obviously, as always, Rad from Pixel Plastic Inc. Shadow Owns Network. What's going on tonight, sir?
I'm good. Can you all hear me?
Absolutely, brother.
Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness, I had some mic issues, but the trusty AirPods are always reliable. So
Well, you
big
know.
shout out to Apple for saving the day because I don't know what the hell's going on with my professional microphone. So
Yeah,
glad to
well,
be on, man. Talking
it
toys, I'm excited.
especially it's Wednesday night, 7 p.m. That's what we do. And it can't be the show for the guy that's saving grace of us for the last 2 weeks and everything. I'm gonna give you an introduction to Richard from KC Collectibles. Thank you for jumping in again. 2 weeks, brother. You're almost a part of the show full time now.
How's it going?
Hey, doing all right and everything else like that. Wednesday, we're doing good. Let's get some people in the chat and everything else like that. Chet Maddox, like Willie Nelson's on the road. Yes, Chet's checking in. Like I said, we got our buddies from the best damn Star Wars podcast on YouTube. Darth Moocher. Good evening. Hasbro wins. No, okay. Now we've already got a disagreement with our podcast brothers over there. And like I said, yeah, Chet's blowing up and everything. I hope he's not driving. Like I said, it's kind of dangerous. So, uh, well, like I
I
said,
thought
man, we
I
got
thought
some.
he was taking box cars here.
No, oh no, I don't think so. Chet doesn't roll like that. If anything, I'm surprised he didn't take his private jet out. You know, surprised that actually. What's going on? Nice to have you in. Like I said, yeah. Look, Chet Maddox is starting this already. Yeah, just using my hands.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, man, the title alone lets us know that it's Mezco. We did a deep dive, and I think Rad, you were the one that pulled it up about the Mezco and what quality of work they were doing lately. And there's also, with the good and there's some bad. There's been a lot of situations where people have been talking about Mezco while they're doing good work. There's some double dipping going on. And with fans, they hate that double dipping. And just to give people a little bit of context of what double dipping is when they do a character and then they drop an alternate version of that character before the first character has even cooled off. And it seems like, they've been doing that, and there's been a lot of complaints. There was a couple of people on social media that were hitting them up and calling them out, and you know, we'll get to that a little bit later. But on with the good and everything else of that. Anything that you're hearing that's been popping up rad when it comes to any of their main releases or anything?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Mezco line, and they've got so many different licenses now to be able to produce. I mean, not just Joe, which we'll talk about tonight, but like, a variety of different superheroes and horror. I mean, it just the list goes on and on. I mean, if you haven't seen that, it's the ultimate Ghostbusters set, all four of the original
Mm,
figures. It's like
sure.
$500-600, but it's incredible. And then they have their Rumble Society line, which is like their own internal characters, and they just released a few Doc Nocturnal, the Crustacean Mafia, if you will.
Mm,
So they're dropping stuff like crazy, and they're known for amazing articulation, the cloth goods, and all that stuff. But yeah, to your point, there's a bit of controversy with anything, with any toy line, and that is one, the double dipping, thing where as an example, you got Snake Eyes, and how many Snake Eyes versions do you need? And like, where's the rest of the Joe line before you give me another version of Snake Eyes? What's coming next? And then I think there's been a little bit of negative press around
yeah.
people who have pre-ordered stuff recently with the new Rumble Society figures, and then being able to buy them in person in New York Comic Con.
Mm,
I think people are
sure.
raising their hand, going, "Well, I put my money down. Why do I have to wait weeks when somebody
Yeah.
can just get it at the booth?" So it is what it is, but I love Mezco. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I'm gonna say hello to Forbidden Panels. So Richard's buddy. Like I said, yeah, we've got some graphics put in tonight. And again, one, just doing a deep dive in it because I had I had saw a couple of I've seen the Destro one and I've seen a couple of their figures, but I really hadn't paid attention until we brought up the subject. Then I did deep dive. And again, like I started off the show saying, well, damn, looks like I'm buying $100 Joe figures now. But let's just roll into some of the graphics we got on the screen right here. The one aspect I will give, and like I said again, the price points are starting at right around 100, $110. That's a pretty damn good looking figure for $110. And I like the alternate hands, the alternate heads. It comes with a great stand, you know, accessories there, and then with the cloth goods. That's a good looking Duke, man. And I've seen the classified versions of it, but Mezco is running some money. And again, these were the first images. I saw that roadblock and I was like, I've already paid for it. He's already being shipped. Like I said, that was the one I just sat there and said no. The heavy artillery machine gun that he's going with, the two additional heads, the helmets, the hands, the grenades, the stand and everything. I like how they just didn't cookie cut the stands like McFarlane. McFarlane always has those generic black DC stands, and switch up the alternates when it comes to colors and everything. But I thought these figures was good. Richard, any of these? Have you one? Do you have any Mascos?
I do. I have actually a few in my personal collection. Uh, I go with more of the classic. I have a Blade. I have a few. I've ended up selling a lot of them in the store.
Uh,
The Hellboys are I've gone through. I've owned, sold, just because they're so amazing.
yes,
The one thing I absolutely love about Mezco is the quality of the bodies. And
yes,
like it's not just molded clothes. You're not getting like something that you have with like, when you're dealing with McFarlane's or with other toy lines, even the Hasbro's, like the Gi.joe classified lines.
mhm,
Like these are like just smaller versions of Hot Toys, basically.
yeah.
And the
That's
only other company that I can think of that rivals them is Mafex. So I mean, those are two. I mean, just it's their quality is it's unmatched.
true. And I think if anybody knows Mafex, it's the guy that's passing out grills on his whatnot streams. Rad up there.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know the
I
quality of Mafex.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like the Mafex obviously is not going to have, some of them like the Gambit has a soft goods cape and stuff, but there's a few the Magneto, but in general, those are all known for incredible articulation. And it's a different feel. I
Yeah.
love the Mezcos because it's just a bit more real imposability. I think the only issue here, and I know I don't want to get jump into the combo, but I mean, you look at like this Duke here.
Yeah.
And you like the accessories to me, a bit
Yeah.
lacking, right? Like roadblock, give me something more. Like I want more weapons, you know. And I think like if this line is going to evolve, give me a full weapon pack that I can purchase. I think people want to know when the hell is the Cobra Commander dropping, because
Oh
I
yeah,
mean
yeah,
that'll sell it like crazy, and we're still
yeah,
waiting for that. But I love Mezco. I like it better than Macex, to be honest with you. I think it's the coolest line. They just do so many things. And I personally am a huge fan of this Gi.joe line. To
yeah,
your point, though, it's expensive, man.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, they don't have a lot of figures in the line yet. And maybe that'll change.
Mhm.
But $100 versus, you know,
Yeah.
30, $40 a pop, oof, it's a hard pill to swallow if you're really a big time collector. So that's the big question for me. But I love this roadblock, and
Yeah, yeah,
I love the two versions they've dropped with Snake Eyes. I think
yeah.
they've been really great. But I think
Well,
everybody's waiting for that Cobra Commander. Like, well, come on,
we'll
bring
roll
it!
through that one right now. The
Woo! Look at
Destro,
that Destro. Oh man.
that's a
Okay.
classic version. And look, even
Hmm.
the Storm Shadow was like, wow, these are impressive. And again, I like the stands. I think Destro comes with just the right amount of accessories, along with weapons and everything else, because obviously he's a weapon manufacturer. So they've got to give him some stuff. But and they kind of went with the basic stands for the both for the Cobra lines, but I don't mind that. But that's probably one of the best Destros I've seen done in the last, I say, like last 2 3 years. Because I know there's Haya Toys has their version and everything, but this is again, you're looking at like again $100 items, and I think the saving grace is that they are such a early line to it at the moment. It's like we're not like it's not like there's 40 or 50, and then you're thinking $100 a pop at that. So yeah, and exactly. I like the boots. I like the laced up boots that Storm Shell's got some
Have
other assets to roll through.
Have they ever
Uh
done a? I'm not as familiar with the classified line. Have they
yeah.
ever done a Storm Shadow unmasked head sculpt?
They did for that
Just the movie one.
the movie version, but not for
The
the
movie
standard
version? Because
line
that's
yet.
cool. Like, if
Yeah.
you look at both the Destro, but I really like look, you get an
Mhm.
unmasked Storm Shadow, like, that to
Yeah.
me is
Mhm.
pretty badass. Like, if they do some exclusivity like that, where you've never seen it on a Joe
Mhm.
figure,
Sure.
I think that could be interesting. So whatever they do, when they do drop a Cobra Commander, what are the
Oh,
head
yeah.
sculpts gonna look like? Give us something we've never seen from Cobra Commander, you know?
And I know what the fans are gonna say. Are they gonna give us the steel version face mask, or
Mm.
are they gonna give us an actual hood version one? And,
Or both.
yeah, well, no, I think they should, but
I mean,
we'll
with
see.
alternate head.
Yeah, we'll see if that's possible, and maybe they can give us a third head because remember in like the Once a Man Cobra Commander, the mutation and everything. And so again, I think if you're going to give us Cobra Commander, you should give us all the tiers and everything else. Don't just do like classified where they've shied away, and maybe that the not the hooded closed off is just in Hasbro scenario. We may get that from outside companies where they'll be allowed to like roll a hooded version compared to the Hasbro brand that won't do it. But again, yeah, we're looking at Firefly. That's a great looking Firefly.
Once
He was
again, I wish we got an unmasked version.
yeah,
That's something
yeah,
I've done with a lot of my classified customs. Like I did Beachhead, I made an alternate head for him unmasked. I did Firefly with an alternate, unmasked version. I think people would love to, and like you said before, like he said, there's, I
yeah,
mean, it's something we haven't gotten,
yes,
and I mean, these are classic looks, but to throw something different in there, if we're not getting a ton of weapons, why
yeah.
not get an alternate head like that?
Absolutely. I think that they could, and actually, I know Mezco is now getting into the higher end stuff, but when they were of like, their early days, they did do a lot of listening to the fans. So hopefully that's something that's still carrying on through that company. We're rolling through now. Here's Rab was talking about the Snake Eyes, and we've got alternate versions of Snake Eyes. And I think that's the Commando version. I like the Commando version over
Oh,
the
man.
I guess
Hell yeah.
the updated version. The Commando version just looks sleek and like hardcore. Like he looks like he could jump off the screen.
And the great thing is with the soft goods, it looks like a proper Commando version, not just a black mess where it's just
They're
molded
hit.
plastic. Like the soft goods make it look amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? The one aspect that I think they could do is that version I wish I saw in the movie. Because somehow whenever they do the Snake Eyes on the G.I. Joe films or his own film, he has not looked as good as he does in that Commando version. And I wish that they would take some ready points from the Mezco line and actually do his costume like that because I would love to see that on the screen. Forbidden Panel says, are his pouches removable? I don't know. I don't think so. Being soft goods, but like I said, this one I'm just getting into it, so we'll definitely have to run that. But again, the other version doesn't look good. I've just seen the kind of like face shield, kind of like medieval version of that. So many renditions, so many times that it's just like, okay, yeah, I've seen that version. I'm not really that excited, but the Commando version, like, yeah, that's like taking the classic Joe from the original line in the 80s and just really kind of updating them really well.
Yeah,
And
the only
go ahead.
I was gonna agree. Having multiple head, yep, Cobra Commander, 100%. They should definitely make a deluxe. I was thinking, Alex, around the Commando edition.
Mhm.
The problem here too, if we're
Yeah.
comparing classified versus Mezco, is some of these limited edition, like this Commando edition, once it sells out, like at a con,
Mhm.
the third party resale is crazy. It's
Oh yeah.
astronomical. And
Yeah.
I know like sometimes that happens with some exclusive Joe figures too. You're paying up.
Mhm.
But
True.
if you want to get this Commando, you're paying $300
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
Easily.
This not available on Mezco
Mhm.
Toys right now. I don't know. You could get on the wait list. Maybe they re-release it in some of these figures. They don't. So that's the problem. Is like you're not going to be able to get this unless you got it at the early point. Like I'm glad the Destro is available right now,
Yeah.
but you could get this regular Snake Eyes. But that's the other thing. Again, I love Mezco, but $300-400 for these
I
figures
know.
once they sell out, it's tough to swallow, man.
And you know what? It's not even. I have started, like I said again, doing the research this week. Stuff that's on the Mezco website is selling on Evil Bay for like 3 or 400, and it's still available on the Mezco
Hmm.
side. So this is
Yep.
just telling you, well, if you can still get it, how much it is. And then of course we know are chasing the plastic dragon, Chet Maddox, while rolling through is actually purchasing figures on the move. Well, he says while flying in my jet stream. Yeah, wouldn't expect less from him. But yeah, like I said again, but this is where the double dipping comes into play. You've already had one version of Snake Eyes, and then it was like immediately you've dropped in. You've got a handful of Joes. It's like you could have used that on another character, and I'm also glad they didn't because I know they've got 2 or 3 other Snake Eyes that they could do. One with Timber, and then one with so they're not done dipping in the Snake Eyes pool.
Well, they
When
do.
we
I
take
think they do have. I want to say they have the timber.
I think
I
I
did
thought I
see
saw the pictures.
Yeah, they do. They do.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
they
knew at
have.
one point they were gonna double dip into that.
Yeah, they do have it. They definitely
Okay,
do have the one with the timber.
yeah. Well, then
So
there's
yep.
triple dipping right now. So, now here's the thing that really kinda impressed me again because, like, if we're gonna go with the debate, look, Mezco is beating Classified right now. I'm at Classified, you can see it from the back and everything. There's Classified over the place, but Mezco is beating the classified line because just with the handful of figures they've got right now, they're murdering this man. And this is one that look, this should be a resounding call to Hasbro. Like, you gotta up your game, man. Because you can't have like third parties out here doing it. I'm pull the screen up because I see like I said, you went and grabbed something. Okay, there you go.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. We're
I
talking
mean,
about
this
Dark
is
Side.
yeah. I mean, this is. I mean,
Wow.
you get the tin, right? You get the
Yeah.
tin,
Oh, yeah,
and
10.
then you unveil this this beauty of a figure here with all. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just packaged like it's just and the articulation. He's a heavy boy.
Yeah.
They're again they're doing it right. All these lines,
Mhm.
Marvel, DC, the Joe stuff. But this one's a really good. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Well, I like the fact that it had the 10
Yeah,
because it's like, look, they could have they could have cheaped out and gave you like a cardboard box or something, but that 10 is that is the box sometimes is a collector's piece along with it, and I
that's
love
right.
how they have the Omega symbol on there and everything. Look, it's classic Dark Side. Now we take a look at the photos right here, and it makes you envious. I love the actual the beam. It's this is a great looking, and I will say McFarlane dropped a Dark Side that looked pretty good, and I was like, okay, but again, when you look at like Mezco, you're like, McFarlane got some work to do because
Well,
that cape is fantastic.
the thing about the McFarlane one is the sculpting on it is amazing, but
Yeah.
in typical McFarlane fashion, I guarantee you the articulation isn't going to be anything,
Mhm.
especially when they're bulkier figures. Even if they try to add the articulation, they don't. Anytime, notoriously, McFarlane ones just don't move. And Mezco,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and also and
yeah, the
McFarlane's
Mezcos
notorious
move
for if
well.
you move them too hard, they break. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know? Dark Moocher, yeah, Mezco is mid-level between the affordable and all the way to Hot Toys. Yeah, so it's like, I think there's like, there's Mezco, there's Mayflex, and then there's Hot Toys, and then you kind of just, lost your mind after that scenario. This Christopher Reeve one, look,
Outstanding.
that is
like the
And I
beautiful.
love.
can,
Have you seen the can that comes in as well? It
I
comes
know
in
I
a
haven't seen a can.
yeah. So it comes in this cylinder, a tin
Uh-huh.
cylinder can, and it opens up, and obviously you could see what you get inside, and so
Yeah.
you're able to lift it up, and obviously you've got the 78 Superman in the middle. It's just badass. So going back to what you get, that this one particularly, the tin cylinder can is amazing. Mezco does a great job in that because you can buy the Popeye Mezco
Hmm.
and it
Yeah.
comes in a tin spinach can. I mean,
Yeah,
come on now, you know what I mean? Like that's just amazing.
Well, the one thing I did as I was doing the research on this is that they say the crystals light up just
Hmm.
like in the Fortress of Solitude, and I'm like, wow, man, and it's weird story about Dr. Brentley and I when we had a house in Lawndale years ago. We were commissioning somebody to make an actual Fortress of Solitude bar with crystal that we can light up, and that's when we had crazy stupid money. So we were losing our minds, but that's look. I think right down to the costume. I like the extra head, the hands, and everything else of that. The actual the crystals to put in. You know, like, wow, like, you're just getting on top of quality on top of quality. You're really doing a good job on it. We'll roll through. I had to put a Black Panther up and everything. And I think this was on the wait list, and I actually hit that wait list and everything, the want list. I was like, yeah, put it on because I know I definitely got to find. Yeah, Dr. Brentley hits in and says, yeah, that would have been epic bar. I know, I know. Got still a couple more movies where we get that bar again. But this was look. While I thought Marvel Legends did a version of the Black Panther that was Chadwick Boseman's look on it, and they did a pretty good job with that, and I thought that was good. But I see this, and I'm like, this is Hot Toys quality to me. It's like that suit and with the spear and the alternate head, that is an absolutely great figure. Again, Mezco is surprising me here because I did not expect this great stuff, but they're doing a great job on some of these figures, man.
Yeah,
So
and
we flip it right over here.
they scale well with your standard 6-inch figures too. The problem with Hot Toys is, yeah, there's some articulation, but they're
Yeah,
definitely meant to be. I got some Hot Toys; they're meant to be displayed, right? You can change their poses a little bit, but you stick them in the pose for too long, and adios, right? They're just not
yeah,
designed for that. Like in a glass case,
yes,
these are meant to be played with, like not super
yeah,
hard, right? They can't take a beating like the standard plastic, but like toy photography and customizations, they could do a lot. I've seen some people take Mezco head sculpts and put them on, standard plastic by it looks great. I've seen a lot of Punisher stuff. Like I just got the best Punisher, the Spec Ops Punisher from Mezco, and it's got
yeah,
it's one of the most incredible Punishers. But I've seen people take that and mix it with other Punisher stuff. So I don't know, Richard, if you've seen that, but I know like that Punisher customizations. That's like
On
so
top of it,
popular.
I think it was it may have been the first or the second Punisher that Mezco put out came with a huge arsenal of weapons, and I used that throughout most of my GI Joe classifieds too. It's just and the coolest thing is Mezco's, because of the scale and the amount of articulation that they have and the quality that they're made, they're very easy to customize. There's a lot of people out there that make, once again, there's all these people out there on the internet that do head sculpts, and because you can't get the rights of certain actors, so you don't get one that looks like an actor, that you can find that head sculpt and throw it on a Mezco body and not have to change anything else, and it's an amazing figure. So like they're the customization, and it's not whereas like, one problem that I have with Hasbro is there's 3 bodies.
Yeah.
Everything else is, it's different paint applications, 3 different bodies. Maybe there's 4 now, or well, 5 since Road Pig came out. But like it's all cookie cuttered. And Mezco's like they vary so much, and the amount that you can do to customize them you're truly unlimited with them. Like they're one of the most versatile when it comes to customization.
Well, like I said again, I know we, as we started looking at the higher prices one, but we've been rocking with Mezco for a while. I know, like Rad just pulled up something. I'll pull up a couple of key things to show that we remember them back in the early days. If anybody remembers this Hellboy, this was the first time I saw an actual property that looked like actually Mike Mignola drew it, and it came off the page. But I've got this line. This is Hellboy. He's got Lobster Johnson that's there, and I love this Lobster Johnson. This is one of the most obscure Mignola characters. And then we've got Liz Sherman from the BPRD. Love that look and everything. I love the packaging and everything else. And then, it was one of those things. It's not Mignola, but it is Eric Powell's Goon.
Nice.
And I purposely didn't purchase Frankie because I didn't like Frankie's look and everything. But it's like that's where I remember Mezco from. So to see their maturity now is really kind of cool, man. You had something to show us, brother?
Well, I'm just gonna. This is the Punisher 112. This is the Mezco exclusive Spec Ops edition. So you can see here. I don't know if they'll pull up on camera, but you see all of the weapons and the head sculpts and all that stuff. But I think what's really cool about this, and I'll just if I can get on camera, as Richard was saying about like just the head sculpts. Like this is what is really cool. So you get him, so you can see, that head sculpt. I don't know if you can't see it, but then you get this bad boy right here, which is incredible. So you pop that on that body. It's just incredible. And just the detail of the weapons too. I mean, the Gatling gun here, I mean, it's all day. So again, that's what they've done so well, is be able to produce some of these things. That's why I say with the G.I. Joe stuff, we want weapons. We want weapons. Give us the weapons, right? It's so important to the figures, So, but yeah, again, and I love to see those Hellboys, man. Love those Hellboy figures. And that's where they got their start, and they got their start in the horror too. Like Mezco did a lot of horror stuff too, and they still do.
Oh yeah, they did. They did a really awesome Jason Voorhees, and then Freddy Krueger. They did an amazing Freddy Krueger.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where it pulls. We're gonna go back up to the graphics, and just to show that Mezco is actually jumping on. This is Ghost Machines, Image Comics imprint. That was I'm trying to think, but Jeff Johns actually and Gary Frank. They, this is a brand new current figure that they've actually put up and everything, and this one's only lived in the comic format for not too long, but I give them credit, like, they're stepping out of the bounds. They're not just settling for certain licenses. They're looking for new licenses. You want to see that out of some of these companies, that because a lot of companies are afraid to jump on to, especially just a a comic book character. This, it's not like Junkyard Joe has appeared in films or animation or anything. This is purely just off the comic book page. Fairly early comic book as well. We got Dark Music. Yeah, one of my favorite Mezcos is that I have the Frankenstein monster one. I've seen that one. That is a damn good looking figure, man.
I just ordered that one. I ordered the black and white version, the Frankenstein. They have a green
Uh-oh.
version too, but I ordered that.
Yeah,
And I pre-ordered this bad boy because this Junkyard Joe, like, I
yeah,
just think it's just cool. It's a cool figure.
it
Like,
is.
you don't even have to know what the hell this is. Just look at that
Yeah.
figure, man. It's so
Yeah.
badass. Military robot. Like, you could just make believe whatever it is. But I love how it looks. So I was like, I got to pre-order this one.
Yeah, this is one. I think the if we were on Pixel Plastic the Ink, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank were supposed to do. I think it's the 10 Soldier or something over at DC, and of course,
Mm.
Jeff Johns ran into little problems over at DC, and they allowed him to take his pitch and everything else like that and take it on his own. That's very rare. So that's either one thing they wanted to get rid of him, or they thought it was a good enough idea to allow him. But look, I've read the book. It's probably one of Ghost Machine's better actual products. So I'm glad that they actually did a figure, and it's really cool. And again, it like you were saying, like I said, I love all the helmet, the stands, it just there's a lot of like detail in that character from just something that we've only seen in just one form in the comic book form. So when we roll through and everything, this is the one that everybody's talking about right here because
Mhm.
if anything looked like it captured the summer, this looks like Ryan Reynolds just jumped off the screen with this. And the collectors the cigarette packs, yeah, they were going deep into that Junkyard Joe. But yeah, like I said, this looks great, man. I love the posability of the character. Like again, Mezco, like I said, they I'm it's again, I didn't think I was gonna be in $100 figures. That it's just like, am I gonna pay $100 figures? Yes, I'm probably gonna pay for $100 figures.
Another thing
So
that Mezco gets right that a lot of companies don't is they get their color palettes right. You know,
yes.
Mhm.
like Marvel and Hasbro, like there's usually something like looks a little off with the figure a lot of times, and it's the colors, the paint applications, the colors, and Mezco nails it every single time.
Yeah. Well, I think at that price range, they need to nail it every single time. I don't think the audience would be forgiving enough if they actually got something that was off. So, but I saw this, so again. We're just throwing up stuff on the screen. This is like you said, their own version, Doc Nocturnal. Uh, Look,
This is the
every now
that's
and then there's
that's
oh
the
yeah,
original that's the
hold
original
on,
Doc Nocturnal.
let me switch
And
this
now
over.
that's the
Wow,
original Doc Nocturnal. That's obviously their one of their main characters from
yeah,
Rumble Society. They just released obviously their new version, and there's a Red Hood special edition. Um, I love it, man. I love their lore.
yeah,
Their kind of quirkiness. They're kind of odd characters, oddballs, and they're super collectible. The only gripe that I have, like, well, I have a
hmm,
few, like we just talked about,
okay,
but one thing that I think could improve is we just talked about the tins and the packaging, which I think is great.
yeah,
You have a tons of accessories, but I wish, like, for display ability, like it's a box, and like, okay, it looks like a
yeah,
book in a bookshelf. I wish it was a window in some of these. Like that would just like
hmm,
that's one of the things I love, Joe, the Hasbro stuff, that you could see the figure. And again,
yeah,
they're designed to like play with and maybe not to present on a shelf, and I get that, but it would be cool if there was, the ability to see the figure in display.
hmm.
That'd be my only thing there, but I get it. They're more for posability and playing and photography, less about putting on a in case display. But I wish that could be
I think
better.
so. But I think they could run an alternate because there are just in the box collectors out there.
Yeah,
And
a ton.
they you don't want to just pose something where it just has a symbol on it. You actually if you can actually, do that. So I think there's room for them to improve on that. Again, they've in the past, they've done a good job of listening to the fans from the Hellboy line to the Goon line to everything you see today from their horror lines. They have done a great job of listening to fans. So they may actually somewhere down the line start doing something for those in-box collectors. But yeah, like I said again, I love the Doc Nocturnal figure. And even now you said this is from they're supposed to be doing now the funny thing about that, they're at New York Comic Con, but they are doing their own kind of Rumble con that's actually
Mhm.
running during the same time, and that's scheduled for this week as well. So I found that very interesting. They've got, at the New York Comic Con, they've got a booth there. And then they're also running their own, like, event over the weekend that's not considered to be part of the New York Comic Con. So, that's a company that's forward thinking. They know that some people are gonna, comic book fans casually going into there, maybe purchase some products, but they also know that their own line of characters they've got up this week. And this is there's a couple of those characters that you can be able to purchase over the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the show. So I like that, man. That was actually kind of cool. Uh we were rolling through. Now this one caught my eye and I was like, okay, look, there's
Oh man.
you know.
Wait, is this the big ass one? This is not
Yeah,
the is
yeah.
this oh
Oh yeah.
my where the
This was the one
tail
that
is
caught
like
my eye and
the
I
t-
thought to
the
myself,
tail is
like,
bigger than the Joe the
yeah,
USS flag, I think. Like
yeah.
Yeah,
like it's nuts, right? Yeah.
And
it's
it
a
lights
beast.
up. And it lights up.
That's is
I
chat still
saw
on?
this and I
Is
thought to
chat still
myself,
on?
like,
Chat Maddox, you in the chat? Where's your pre-order,
yeah,
brother? This is
yeah.
on you. This is all you.
This is kind of one that maybe Chet and I might go in like half for this one. It goes like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in my house, and then it goes in his house. We had to because when I saw this and I was like, oh, this is the best era of Godzilla. I remember that on the out here in Southern California, the $1 Million Movie. I love this
Oh
version
yeah,
of him. He's my favorite version. But when I saw it, like it light up, and I saw how long that tail was, I was like, son of a, I'm gonna have to buy this damn figure. So Chet and I might go
I
half
got
and half on this one.
And Mr. Storm, I got to be honest with you because I know you and I were chatting earlier this week. I would love
Yeah.
to see in your house Godzilla versus Galactus HasLab. I would say, man, we've never seen it. We've never seen
Never.
Galactus versus Godzilla.
Hey,
Battle of the Titans.
I love me some Galactus, but I'm a Godzilla boy right here. I gotta think Godzilla's gonna give me a comeback right here. Don't let him team up with Rodan and Mothra. There might be a problem here, but this caught my eye. I think this was priced over $300-400, and I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm putting that on my credit card. But it piqued my eye and said, fire breath, the back and everything. I said, oh no, now see Mezco, you're doing too much here. You're doing too much. And then I saw
Hell
this
yeah.
Conan figure, and I was like, and this is a statue actually. I'm sorry. But wow, the detail in this it's just like this is the introduction into Mafex if you or I'm sorry into Mezco if you haven't gotten into it is that it's not just about their 1/12 line. It's not the lights and everything else. So that there's statues also. This is like whether you're looking at Sideshow or any of the main carriers of these kind of statues, Diamond. This is of that quality right here. This is a great figure, man, or a great statue. This is something that I could see, like, because there's a lot of Conan fans out there. This does this justice. And I always love the versions that are always depicted like Super 7 of just Arnold Schwarzenegger. There are many different great versions out there, and this is just one of them. So, if you're into
They have
statues, this is something you should pick up.
they have the two 112 versions of Conan. So the
Yeah,
articulated ones we were just talking
yeah.
about. They have King Conan, and then I
yeah.
don't know the other. I don't have them. Man, they look
That King
fantastic.
Conan is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks great, man. It
And it
looks so
blows Super
awesome.
7s out of the water. Like, when you look at Super 7, it's not bad, but then you start looking at Mezco like, "Okay, yeah, Super 7 needs to start
It,
packing this
it's
up."
it's pretty bad. The
We're
Super
trying to
7
give a bit of
one leaves a
talk.
lot to be desired,
It
especially at
does.
their price range.
But, now here's the thing, what I will give that because we do a good job of dumping on Super 7. But the King Conan sitting on that throne, that is one of the better Super 7 versions.
Right.
Not it's like let's put it like this. It's when we say that's one of the better versions of it. Yes, it is. It's one that they should be spotlighting because it looks great. So every now and then, we give them their due, but we rag on them a lot too. So but they well
But
deserved.
Even McFarlane years back put out a pretty awesome King Conan sitting on the throne.
Yeah.
I believe it was a Comic-Con exclusive, but I mean, for some reason, the King Conan is the one they get right, and they messed up a bunch of the other ones.
Yeah. Or we'll
Can
start
we get
flipping
a
through.
can we get a new Conan movie? By the way, well, what's taking so long? Can we get one?
I don't know. They can make, Arnold's still up for it. He might be able to do like, old King
As long as it's
Conan.
not Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
Oh no,
yeah.
please
Jason
no.
tore that up. All right, so we'll start flipping through the last so we get through some other stuff. But we were talking about their 5-point lines. Again, these are just 5 points of articulation, but they've got the Max Fletcher Superman, got the classic Popeye. This is where the Adam West version of Batman, and then Frank Miller's Sin City. So, and then we've got one last one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by the Eastman and Laird versions. Great stuff, Mayfex. Like I said again, if we're gonna say who's winning the battle right now, the battle's being won by Mezco over Classify. So again, but hopefully healthy competition will lead to some
Even with those 5 points, they're killing the Super Sevens. Like they have
and the
the
low subject.
Batman 89s coming out that look
Yeah,
freaking awesome.
I saw that. I saw the Batman animated ones too. I just didn't put it on the graphic, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said again, I'm Mezco is going to be a company I'm going to keep my eyes on, and it's going to be a company that's going to get some of my dollars. That means somebody else is going to lose some. So we're rolling into New York Comic Con this week and everything, but Todd McFarlane decided that he was going to be dropping some stuff before, so he's going to drop his Superman versus Batman wave. And he's got a couple of figures: the armored suit Batman, the nightmare version of Batman. Wonder Woman's going to be coming for the line, and then he's going to have a 2-pack of Doomsday Mega Figure and Superman. That is dropping on the 18th, which is Friday at 9 a.m. And this is going to be on mostly the regular Amazons, the Walmarts, the Big Bad Toy Stores, our affiliate Entertainment Earth. It's going to be readily available. This is not going to be something that's kind of exclusive. When we run down, here's some look at the characters and everything. Again, the guys that take McFarlane's photographs do a great job, because when I see that in store, I'm like, it looked better on screen than I saw it in the actual store. And like I said, Chet Maddox's Uncle Todd does excite me. Well, he's acquired taste, man. Again, I don't think that Wonder Woman looks too much like Gal Gadot. The Doomsday kind of at a distance, but again, this is one McFarlane. You need to see him in person. Sometimes, again, and just they've got great people that are taking photographs for him. That doesn't come that way, because that Batman, Superman versus Batman, Batman figure doesn't look anything like Ben Affleck, and it doesn't look anything like the suit from the movie. So that's a disappointment for that. But we'll see. He's dropping this down. There's also this is dropping on the 17th, which is tomorrow. So this one is not on Friday. This is dropping tomorrow. And this is his version of the Batman Beyond Batmobile. I like the Batmobile. I don't like that shaded version of Terry McGinnis Batman, when I think he was trying to do that if you look at some of these other photos. And again, he's launching, let me just let everyone know, he's launching 2 different versions of this. The Batmobile. One's the gold label version that will have Batman and the actual Batmobile with it. And then one that will just have the Batmobile. Now, that Batmobile will be exclusively just for Amazon. So that's probably going to be the thing that's going to piss off a lot of fans, because if anytime you order that through Amazon, you're fighting with it, and chances are it's sold out in seconds. That is a McFarlane staple. You get up in the morning, you go to Amazon, and then you see it that has already been sold out. So this is going to be tough for you. So everybody hit those refresh buttons in the morning. We'll run through some more images of it.
And I gotta say, like, one thing that I have been pretty impressed with, because I know McFarlane takes a lot of heat for some of the stuff, is the gold label vehicles.
Yes.
I think that has been done really well. The Batmobiles, the animated series line with some of those vehicles, they've done a pretty good job with that, right? Nobody else is really kind of doing those things
for
well.
the price
So
point.
I will say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the '89 Batmobile, I think it came under like $60 initially. And I thought, wow, that's actually pretty reasonable. Now, of course, there's certain things to drawbacks. It's a one-seater, obviously should be a two-seater. The gloss problem, he fixed it in the gold label version, but it's so again, yeah, he does take a lot of heat, but he is doing things that other people aren't doing. Lights, characters, some obscure. Again, this is an item that I'm picking up. I'm probably just going to pick up the Batmobile because I don't like the shaded version of it. I much rather just get his standard Batman Beyond, but I like that it comes with the base and everything. He puts a little bit more into the gold label stuff, so give him credit. But this is for anybody that was a big fan of that show. This is one of those to get. And then he rolled with his 1978 version of Christopher Reeves, and Richard and I was talking about this before we got on.
What the hell is this, by the way?
Yeah,
I'm
The head
sorry.
sculpt, the head
base
sculpt
scope
is
is
really
not
good.
bad.
Yeah, the head sculpt's good, but what is the
The
body?
body
What are
is
we doing
Yeah.
here?
it is a horrible, horrible body. I am
Yes.
more than likely going to take that head sculpt and put it on a different body.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Like, what
it,
And that's the killer of this is that it's the now classified uses a different rocker and the crunch of the like abs, and that looks a
right.
little bit better and it doesn't mess with the eyes, but this whole thing just killed the whole vibe of the costume. And I
Well,
don't know, I know it's a soft good cape, but I know he's been doing the soft good capes with the wiring in it, and they didn't state whether this was not or if it was going to have the wiring in it.
even the going down the line, they use that crunch, but for
Yes.
some reason his upper chest is so much longer than the average McFarlane figure. Like it is very elongated, and he's got tiny legs.
Yeah.
Like those are some skinny legs compared to the size of his chest.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
very, and I hope this isn't the final product. It just looks, and it could be angles. It could be an angle with the picture. It makes it look misproportionate. Hopefully, when it comes out, especially for the price, that head
What
sculpt looks amazing. So
I know he killed it compared to when we just saw the Mezco version, and then we see
yeah,
this.
oh,
See, you
Mm,
can't do that one in the same show. You can't show the Mezco version and then you go down the line to show this, and people are like, okay, now that really looks terrible compared to that. So, but
right.
that's dropping
But you're
tomorrow
talking about a
at
$60 difference too.
True. Way difference. It's dropping tomorrow on 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So us Pacific people remember it. That's early morning.
I mean,
Maybe
I'm
at
here's
still
Toy
going to
Store.
order it.
And
yeah.
no, I'm not. I'm not ordering this one. No, I'm not going to order this one. This one
I'll
is.
use the head. Like I said, I'll use the head for a much better body. Um, it's just, yeah, the body just leaves so much to be desired. It just
Yeah.
looks,
Well,
those tiny legs bother me.
yeah, again, I don't know if it's angle and everything. This is a collector edition, so it's probably going to be a little bit more than the standard McFarlane figure, but I don't know. Again, it says it's going to be available tomorrow, Baypad Toy Store, our affiliate Entertainment Earth. If it's this is probably not going to be in stock, so you might want to wait because I got a feeling it will be in stock soon. So yeah, McFarlane, what are you doing, McFarlane? Come on, it's like
Well, he
he
also, I
we
mean,
expect
we
better
just
from
saw,
McFarlane.
we just saw an entire line that nobody wants. I mean,
Yes, yeah, I
who
know.
liked that Superman Batman movie? Who's gonna buy
Mm,
those toys?
well, here's the thing. I'm waiting for the Superman Batman Batmobile that he's eventually going to do, because I think that the one good part about it, he'll do something accurate. But the figures, I have not been impressed by any of his figures down this
Well,
line.
also, they do make Mezco versions of those soups and bat, and they're
Yeah.
way better. So if you actually
Oh,
Oh,
like it, that's a definitive edition, right? Like
yeah.
if you're really into that movie and want, that bats and like that's the way to go. So I don't know why you'd spend your money
If
on
you're
this
really into
line.
that movie, I want you to message me and tell me why you're into that movie.
well, okay. This is
Like,
the
what did
thing.
I
We're
miss?
not going. We're not going to hit this, but we'll hit it. The director's cut, like most of Zack Snyder films, is a much better cut for that because it explains more things that they just chopped up in the first run. But if it takes you 3 hours to tell a
That's
story, how good is the story?
that's still not saying much, though.
It's true. But the things he took out of the movie made more sense. The theatrical run just didn't make sense at all in a lot of things. So,
You
again,
know,
it's classic Zack Snyder.
it's like what they say. The white part of bird poop. It's still bird poop.
Yeah, I did take it there, didn't you? All right. Well, since we're moving on from the bird poop and everything, let's go to something a little better. Over the weekend, I made a trek down to and I put this on my Instagram where meeting somebody on Facebook Marketplace when it goes right. Uh Chet had purchased the Conquest for me, the vintage version of it, and the only thing it didn't come with was the pilot. So I've been searching for Slipstream, the pilot for it. And I was on Facebook Marketplace and I saw individual that had it. His name was Eric, and he's with a company called Sons and Pops Collectibles. And we were just talking. And I was like, "Look, I couldn't make it down to Westminster." He said, "Hey, there's a show in Whittier that I do on Sundays. Once you pop through and come through." So I did, and cut a little video of it and everything. It's a larger video lately, but we just want to do a quick one right here of that little experience. So check this out. Yeah, they had some really nice vintage stuff there. It's a cool little show. It's the Jimmy's USA show, but that was two brothers that actually had side by side booths there. One was Eric with Sons of Pops Collectibles, and his brother Leo with Iconic Collectibles, and they're there on Sundays. It's not too far away from Frank and Son, so like I said again, most people make their trek in the city of industry over to Frank and Sons. Pop over to Whittier, see those guys. A lot of other great vintage vendors that were there. I just didn't get into all that. We're pressed on time here on Toybox Chronicles, so we'll do a bigger video down the line, but it was kind of cool. So, it's always rolls on that, but we're getting to the time where we're getting to the end of the show, guys. And you know what that is? We got to pay the piper. And the piper is our sponsors. Thank them for actually popping in and actually doing all the stuff they can to keep our show running. And we have to do a little thing for them. So we've got a code for Entertainment Earth. Stand by and check this out. We did the math for you, so you don't have to do it, but 10% off of in-stock items, $59, and you get your shipping for free. Come on, if you buy a couple of figures, chances are it's gonna get to $60. So you might as well do it. That code is right there. It's also linked. It's in the description for it, so make sure you're checking that out. And that's not our only person of the night and everything. Gemini Comic Supply is like us, everyone here. If you're into toys, chances are you're into comics. What are you going to do? Well, you got a discount on some great supplies. Check this out. simple for you. SKN, 10% off. Gemini Comic Supplies. We thank them for doing that. But that's not the only sponsor tonight. We have to give our due to the man that's on the screen below us right here, kccollectibles.com. He is in the Redland area, right, man?
I'm in Rialto.
Rialto, sorry. Now, here's the thing. You've got a home store, and if they order from you, there's a code that you have too, right, brother?
Yeah. So basically, if you order from our website, you go into checkout, you put in the code SKN15, you get 15% off your purchase.
Well, 15%. Wow.
And we're constantly adding to our website. So it's a constant work in progress when you're a mom and pop store. So if there's ever anything that you're looking for, you can feel free. There's ways to message us right there on the website. It's KS Collectibles. Collectibles also spelled with a K.com. Or you can hit me up through Instagram or any social media. I'm currently cataloging over 20,000 comic books too. So those will be online soon. So if there's ever anything that you're looking for, and just because it's not on our site doesn't mean I don't have it.
Yes. And also there's some customizable options as well. So they should definitely get with you on Instagram.
There is an order form on the website for customs, and the discount code does count for customs also. Yes.
All right. You hear that, fans? SKN15. You go to KS Collectibles with a K .com. Check out some of that stuff, and also you have a store actual home front, right? So it's what's
Correct.
The hours on the weekend if people want to pop in?
I run 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. I'm pretty liberal when it comes to the time because it is in my home. If someone messages me and tell me that they get off work at 9, I'm more than happy to open up for them. It's a small storefront built in my garage, but it's something that you can browse through. Plenty to see. So,
all right. Well, we'll keep that in, brother. And like I said again, it was always a pleasure having you on. And look, there's other people that's on a Wednesday night. If you're not spending Wednesday night with us, what are you doing? We've got the Livestream Wednesday schedule. We're going to play that for you now. That's right. You've got the Fallen Fett Box Chronicles, and then guess what? In a couple of minutes, you've got the best damn Star Wars podcast on all of YouTube, the Sorlac Digest podcast. Tonight, you are definitely going to want to tune in. They have a special trivia night. You can, if you got your phone, you can play with them along too. So it's going to be completely interactive. That's the things we love about our YouTube channel, brothers. They're always working the innovations. We're probably going to have to actually borrow that idea. I use the term borrow it for Pixel Plastic and Ink on Fridays. But you got to check them out and everything. And also make sure you're checking out the Fallen Fett and everything. Again, you were locked into Star Wars. But then on Friday, well, that's Pixel Plastic Ink. You can catch myself, Rad, Dr. Brentley, and yes, the Illmatic Chet Maddox. He will be on the Friday show and everything from Southern California. We're also planning some live venue events where you'll be able to do. Got a special one that we've looked at. It might be a bar setting that we'll be able to invite some people through. And Survivors Arcade, Airbnb, that's run by a very good friend of ours, is up and ready to go. And we're probably going to be doing a live remote from there. So you're going to see a lot of vintage arcade machines behind us and everything. So that's going to be interesting. So look for Pixel Plastic and Ink on 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern time every Friday. We don't miss Fridays. Some might be recorded, but we're still on every Friday. So, gentlemen, other than that and everything, Rad, anything else you got left for the show, my friend?
Oh man, it was a pleasure to be on, talking toys, talking Mezco. Appreciate the invite, and I'll see you on Friday.
Absolutely. Richard, We're working on something right now called the toy stock market, and we're doing something called the retailers roundtable. So once a month and everything, you'll see Richard. We're also signing up if you're an actual online retailer, you have a brick and mortar, and you want to pop on one night and do a roundtable about the ups and downs of the business, what figures are going up, what figures are going down. We'd like to hear from that, but we're trying to put that together right now with a special salute of retailers and myself in chat. So we're planning on that maybe once a month. So we'll see if we can get that down. So, anyways, I'll check the chat one last time and everything. And like I said again, as usual, my partner in crime. Can't wait to see him next week and everything. Actually, I'll see him before the end of the week when he pops in here. Other than that, gentlemen, pleasure doing the show with you. And like I said, again, Mezco's wins classified. You got some work to do. We'll see you next week, gentlemen.